Me and Jason, like we talk about a lot of European stuff. So
Yeah,
we're both big on the concept of like an academy in the US.
yeah. That's where it's going now. If you look at the overtime league, that's really the model. Because if you look at, European play, and I played a lot of time in Europe and all over the world, it was always based on what? Development, fundamentals. Guys weren't the most athletic, but they were the most skilled. And now you start looking
Hmm.
at the last number one picks in the draft, man, the Euros, man. Guys coming from EuroLeague, Luka and Wembanyama, all these guys, the top. So the game is shifting back to skill and fundamental base. So all this stuff for Instagram looks cool, but sometimes, the stuff that doesn't look cool is the stuff you need. You're not seeing these kids all over social media in Europe playing, but these are the kids we're going to get because they're the next. Because it's all fundamental based right now,
Do
skills.
So true.
do you think kids in the US can be at times like young hoopers more concerned with blowing up than growing up, like Drake said?
For sure. Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the nature of it. So you got to look at how the game changed and for the good, by the way, but it's just you got to get back to the basics. So I've been fortunate and as I was doing my time in the NBA, I started really diving into the women's side. And some of the women I had, signed multi-million dollar NIL deals at 18 years old. That life changed. Paige Beckers and Kiki Rice and some of the first to sign the major ones. And with great reward comes great responsibility. So if you're not sound in mind and body and your maturity level, it's hard to conceptualize coming into that type of fame because it's professional type fame, professional type money, all that
At
things
such a young age.
before you mature. Exactly. So with the kids now, they're chasing that trajectory, which speeds things up, but you can't forfeit development and the fundamentals for the sake of trying to move faster. So that's where like the reclass game and all this stuff gets a little crazy. I almost encourage people not to reclass right away because what if you're really trying to turn pro and me being in the NBA, we're looking for youth, man. You're looking for potential. I don't care if you're 19 years old, you're killing, but if you take the 16 and 17-year-old, you can see, the higher ceiling. So it's a tricky game when it
Say,
comes to that.
say
So
that a little louder for me one more time. What is your actual thoughts on the reclassification process?
I'm not against reclassing, but I think it's oversaturated and overdone because
Mm.
it has to be based on your biggest asset will be your time, right? For everybody, life, your biggest asset is time. So if you have more time ahead of you, and if you're developing at a younger age and you're not reclassing, and it almost speaks to your character, you're a younger guy playing with older guys and you're hanging. All that stuff plays to nature. In the NBA, they're looking for youth. They're looking for the people with the highest potential, the highest ceiling. So reclass is good, but I also think it's situational. And I think people start to feel once it starts happening, oh, I got to reclass my son. He's not going to be ahead. But it's sometimes you're actually doing the kid a disservice because they don't get to go through those growing pains.
You've been in the gym with Paige Beckers and you've trained her. What's she like in
Yeah.
training?
So P, shout out to P. That's my girl. We got my birthday twin. P is probably, I train with a lot of people, and I'm not going to take this lightly. From a skill perspective, the most skilled person I've ever trained personally. Like, Kyrie level skill, gifted, obviously touched by God, but her natural feel for the game and everything she does she's probably the most skilled male or female person I've ever been in the gym with, and we spent a lot of time together. Now, the same focus is now she had to shift her focus to what health, my body, taking care of the little things because she's the type that can lace up and go. I told this story on a few podcasts when she was going through her first ankle rehab and we were rehabbing back and working out 2 summers ago. She was always like, man, it's bothering me. She never would do the proper stuff. So she got mad. She's like, man, the shoe's bothering me. Took her shoe off, launched the shoe, and did the whole workout with one shoe on, one shoe off with a sock on, the other shoe on. And I swear this, she didn't miss a shot for the rest of the workout. I know people exaggerate. She didn't miss a shot for the rest of the workout. I have it on film. I'm not going to put it out maybe later, like in a documentary. She didn't miss a
Wow.
shot for the rest of the workout, going game speed. So she's different, man. Like, she's different. So,
Elite.
I would say probably Paige, to be honest, the most skilled. Yeah. But you have to honor the people too, like a Kiki Rice who does all the right things, takes care of her body, she lifts, she stays, and that's where you notice. So sometimes, even though they're both Gatorade Players of the Year, and you notice they just played each other last week, and Kiki had a borderline triple double, Paige at 32, but UCLA won, and I understand there's injuries and stuff, but the same with the reclass and the kind of things we're talking about. Everybody's path is different, and just because you took off first, it's a long game. Some people that do the right things, you actually make an exponential leap because if somebody loses time being hurt or didn't take care of their body or moving too quick, you slowly just start walking them down. So there's somebody like Kiki Rice who's going to walk them down over time, and the things are going to change for her very quickly too.
So you played in a few countries, right? I got a question for
Yeah.
you. Out of all of those countries you played in, which was the most difficult country to play in? And I'm talking basketball wise, not off the court.
That's a great question. I think all of them have difficulties in themselves, but I think from a pure basketball standpoint, you're asking like the actual game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's Europe, and I would say probably my first job was in Poland when I first came out on a Euro Cup team. We played other EuroLeague teams. I think just the adjustment to European basketball, and European basketball is 2-a-days every day, every single day. And you're playing one game a week. If you're in Euro Cup, EuroLeague, maybe two, but you lose 3 games, you didn't win a game for a month. And you're practicing twice a day. So getting into that grind and that professionalism, not having to overcome language barriers and culture, that kind of stuff, but just the actual basketball, the physicality, the grind, the every day. Any country in Europe, but for me, it was my first job in Poland. One, because I was shell shocked, and two, just because it was, difficult. But that's why EuroLeague holds so much weight on your resume, because if you can get through those growing pains, then you have the ability to launch your career on a whole nother path. That's why you see guys getting picked up all the time out of those leagues.
So do you think the EuroLeague is like one of the best breeders of NBA talent nowadays, or has the potential to be?
100%. It's the second best league in the world. That's a fact. And the piece they have on development, man, there's nothing better. If you see Luka, and when he came out, he's 17 and he won a EuroLeague championship, EuroLeague MVP. It's like no brainer, man. That dude's gonna go in the top 3. Like, it holds way too much weight, because you're going against grown men, you're going against professionals, and whoever is an American or an import, or you're going against the best from every country, because EuroLeague is a mix of everybody from every country. So you are going against the guys that are fringe NBA guys, or probably could be in the NBA, might make more money in EuroLeague, like a Mike James. Like, you're going against a Mike James, you're ready. Like, you're going to be ready.
So in which country did you have the most success on the court?
I mean, that's tough, man. I feel like I was pretty successful everywhere I went, but I think the country that I probably I felt the best, or had the most fun in, where I played well, even though, it doesn't translate to success sometimes, the Philippines, because they love basketball. So if you ever go to play in Asia, if you play in Europe, you're competing with what? Soccer or football, because those are the heavy hitters, right? So anywhere in Europe, it's heavy. It's heavy soccer first, basketball second. But when you go to Asia, it's basketball first. So now when you're playing in China, you're playing in the Philippines, Japan, you're getting 30,000 fans every game. When you walk through the mall, you're getting that feel as if, no, you play in the Thriller of Manila where Ali fought. That's where you play. That's the arena.
Fire.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I've never experienced anything like that. So from that standpoint, that was crazy. But then when you play in Asia, here it is, man. You got to put up or shut up, because they're paying well, and you got to do incredible numbers, because at any time somebody's going to drop 60, 70, and they're going to look at you. You're going to drop 70 tonight. Like, the bar just gets crazy high. So, yeah, like
Miles
in the
Powell was
Philippines,
playing in Philippines. He was telling me
you got to go
that's how he
crazy.
got signed out there for a few mil.
You got to go crazy. And you worried about your job all the time. I was averaging like maybe 24 and 14 or 26 and 4. And I'm worried about my job every game, because it's that competitive, man. There's somebody out there, I think it was Brian Bush or somebody, played a little time in the league, the Wisconsin guy. He had a 40 and 30 game. Now everybody out there is like looking for you to have like 40 and 30. That comes like, no matter what league you playing in. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So like China and the Philippines, incredible basketball, financially great, feel uber competitive for your job. You're the only American there, one or two, and anybody that just left the league is going, So
right.
Those are kind of, every place has a different dynamic to it that makes it difficult, but that makes it great at the same time.
Like I said, Jason and I are always kind of talking about, the global landscape of basketball. Like, we try not to limit our conversations just about college or the NBA.
Right.
And so one of the things we discussed a while back was, and I come from a soccer background, but we talked about the idea of a basketball super cup that would be played every year between the winner of the NBA finals and the winner of the EuroLeague. So this past year would have been Denver Nuggets versus Real Madrid. Do you think, as somebody who played all over the world, and you were obviously very close to the NBA, do you think that would be a cool idea that people would want to see?
I think it'd be a great idea. I think it'll be a lot more competitive than people think now. It's definitely not like back in the Dream Team era when they were just blowing everybody out. If you look at just this past qualifiers, Germany was playing incredible, but my money's still going with the Denver Nuggets. But look at the Nuggets. So here it is. Their best players who? Jokic.
A European.
Came from that mold. So, I think, that'll be the best way to scope your next. You'll see the next up and coming, whoever he is that's playing on Real Madrid, that's 16, 17, 18 years old. For sure, you're going to see him later. But yeah, I think that's cool. I like the Super Cup idea. I think that's dope. But I think it'd be even crazier if you let the people but I guess that's kind of like the Olympics, but if you almost let the people from their country play, but you get that in the Olympics, but I like that. I just think it's still heavily favored to the NBA.
For sure. Can you talk about some of the environments that you played in Europe?
Man, Europe's crazy. I got a crazy YouTube story. I'm gonna show you guys a YouTube link. So you got to think like in Europe or anywhere, anywhere overseas, it's clubs. So there's a home club. So if you play for Real Madrid, clearly they have a basketball team, they have a football team, they have a cricket team, they have whatever. So you get those soccer fans, the hooligans, they call them, the guys in the crowd going crazy or whatever. So when you play in Europe, it's drums and confetti and what do you call the little flare guns and all that stuff going off in a game. Anything goes. So, when you play in that environment, it's different. Like the games on the line, you're hearing jump. So that energy is completely different than a typical NBA game. But when I was actually playing in Asia, I was already playing in the Middle East. It was the Asia Championships. They had these crazy hooligan fans from Ali Club. It's an Egyptian club, but the guy, Mohamed Salah, the famous soccer player, it's his home club. So they actually, like 2 games before, they threw somebody off the stands and burned them alive. So I hit like a game tying 3, and I'm gonna show you guys this clip. It is nuts. I hit a game tying 3, and I went to go sit down. I'm chilling, but like everybody on my team, the local guys, I'm the only American, they start taunting the fans, and everybody's like, chill. They start taunting. Let me tell you something. The fans rushed the floor with 9 seconds left, cleared out, 20K on the floor, bang, chasing after you. I literally ran out of the arena with my uniform on into the street, chased out. They had security. And I'll show you the clip. They cleared the stands, bro. We had to replay the game with no fans like 6 days later with 9 seconds left. Crazy. So it gets out of hand, man. It does get out of hand. But that environment, that energy is crazy. Throw things at you and all that kind of stuff. But they do that here. If you go play in Philly, you go play the Philly fans. Philly fans are crazy. I play so not when I play, but coaching, I seen Russ Westbrook running the stands of the Philly game. Isaiah Thomas ran the stand. They don't care. Philly fans will tell you anything. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. They have no filter. So you have your cities here too. Boston, Philly, the fans, they're gonna let you know.
You transitioned from coaching with the Washington Wizards to now just training and running this school.
Yeah.
Right.
So
and all your focus is there.
For now. So currently I'm still under contract with the Wizards. So, until my contract finishes, I didn't want to take another job. But my natural trajectory is probably to go to college if I want to. But, establishing something like this and being able to kind of this is different as legacy, but it's a lot of work, man. And you don't get it done, without. I'm really thankful for the NBA in a lot of ways because it gives you the platform and the credibility to do something like this. And then just the knowledge and intellect you get from being around that environment. But that's not off the board. The right fit for sure, I'll go back. But, it's all in due time. The NBA is something I didn't want to do. I didn't want to coach in my 40s and 50s. I didn't want that to be, that's a tough life. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of travel and, eventually you want the freedom to really build on your own. So we'll see what holds. Right now I'm under contract for the next year, and then we'll see. But probably the girls' game is where I want to go. So.
All right.
Have you had a chance to watch Carolina at all this year, men's?
Yeah. I watch a ton of basketball. Yeah.
I figured you did. All right. So I'm curious your thoughts. So I'm a Carolina guy.
Okay.
And it feels like what Carolina has been missing the past couple of years is just like a traditional Carolina point guard who just like catches the outlet pass. And
so who do you consider traditional Carolina point guard?
Like a Kendall Marshall type guy who gets the outlet pass and immediately gets it up the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Carolina had kind of been missing like that guy because you know how much Carolina loves to run. But I watch Elliot Kadu. Last game he goes out, 10 assists, 4 points, 0 turnovers, and 4-4 from the line down the stretch. Do you think this is a kid who can kind of be that next guy for Carolina?
Possibly, but way, way too small sample size for me right now. Too early, but yeah, he shows all the traits for it 100%. If you're there and you're starting in that program and getting those minutes, for sure you already have the bloodline for it. But I always like to measure people in the most difficult or adverse game. So we'll see when the tournament comes and all that
There
stuff.
you go.
That's when you really know.
Time, baby.
Yeah, because right now it's non-conference and it's
doesn't
I'm not
matter.
To take it away. I'm not gonna take anything away, but in the toughest moments, you see who the real dogs are.
I love Elliott though.
Yeah, I love him. I like him too, man. I do, and we'll see.
His game is definitely tough.
Mm-hmm.
He shared a rock, shoots it well. He athletic. He get over the rim.
I love that he takes care of it. Yeah, I love that he takes care of it, and I think he's got a super high IQ. And he's athletic enough, so he possesses all the tools 100%.
Did you like my answer as far as traditional Carolina point guards?
Yeah, that was cool. I'll give you that. Yeah, I didn't know where you were going to go with it. I like that, though. I like that. I'll give you that. I thought you were going to go maybe like a Ty Lawson.
Nah, him too.
He loves Ty Lawson. He loves Ty Lawson. That's his boy.
Yeah. I do
Ty's
like Ty
a good
Lawson.
dude. I got to spend a little bit of time with Ty with the Wizards. He's a good dude.
You like Ty Lawson?
Yeah, he's a great dude. Incredible dude.
Yeah, he was always one of my favorites. He was no Carolina point guard in my lifetime was able to get into the paint as easily as Ty Lawson every single time.
First step, lightning quick, super strong, and he was bouncy back then. Don't get it twisted. He'll go in there and dunk on you, man. He was bouncy for that first stretch, man.
Who is the most naturally gifted shooter you've ever seen that you trained?
Naturally gifted shooter. Naturally gifted. That's tough. Like from the female side, I would say AZ Fudd. From the male side, man, there's been so many. I've been with Brad Beal for so long, man. He's like, his mechanics are flawless. I mean, I've been with KCP. He's another one, but KCP's a worker. I don't know so much naturally. Obviously they're all naturally gifted, but probably Brad, man, just from like the way his body moves and a mechanical standpoint. For me personally, working with Brad, I spent some time with Kyrie, but yeah, I think I'll probably give it to Brad for me personally having hands on, and the AZ Fudd for the women.
That's a good answer. Jay, go ahead.
We saw AZ Fudd at the Omni Elite. I was rebounding for her. I did a little bet with her, and she was shooting that shit from half.
She's right here, man. It doesn't drop. I mean, Paige is right with her too.
You want to hear the funny part? We was outside. We was in the park.
Oh yeah. I bet.
Knocking that shit down.
I bet. She can shoot, man.
That shit is cash. But now I wanted to ask you, tell me who's the best player you've played against? Period. Period. It could be in 8th grade. Just period. You got so many years around basketball.
Man, there's so many good people, man. Plus, I'm coming from the New York City circuit, man, like that. And then, I mean, there's some I like the guys that are kind of off the beaten path too that you forgot about. But I remember this is young when I was younger. He was a bit older, and then I'll get to some probably more notable names. But he was might have been the 7th or 8th pick in the draft. He came from UNC Charlotte. His name is Rodney White. Rodney White was a monster. He's 6'9". He can handle it, shoot it. He was crazy. I played with him in China. Rodney White was crazy. But shoot. Yeah, it was a few years back, but he went to the Nuggets. He was a top pick, but that was just kind of like having to go against him every day. But I would say, I mean, I seen Bron live and up close, personal. That's tough, Kyrie, maybe Kyrie, probably Kyrie.
There we go.
Kyrie.
Ooh, he said it.
Yeah, Kyrie in the summer.
He said it. Shout out the GOAT, man.
Kyrie's crazy, man. And he's a good dude, Kyrie. There's so many though, man. That's tough. That's a tough question, bro. You gonna put me in a bad spot. Probably Kyrie.
I'm a skills development specialist, might I say, right? That's what I call myself. / mentor.
Great.
Coach, trainer, whatever you want to call it. I'm all about the youth, right? So What would your advice be to people that are in my shoes, other trainers' shoes, that are trying to get to the highest level of training? And that could be college for some guys, like you just said, you might want to go back to college. For some guys, it could be the NBA. For some guys, it could be having their own program and just training the community.
Right.
What advice would you give to that next guy coming up trying to do that?
It's probably a threefold question. It's multifaceted in this way. One, you have to be an incredible learner, and you have to be willing to learn, because as you want the people you're trying to develop and learn to get better, you also have to constantly be getting better. And it's a hard thing because it's very competitive. And I learned this lesson the hard way. I'll tell you a quick story, and then I'll get back to your question. So right towards the end of my career, I was going through my second Achilles injury, and I went back to my school, Liberty, and I was getting my master's degree, and I was rehabbing and on the fence of whether I was going to go to coaching or whether I was going to continue to play. And I met Rob Fodor, who's one of my great buddies. Rob Fodor is the shooting coach for the Miami Heat. And he came in, he was doing a small clinic. He's going to do my clinic next Sunday. Also, you're welcome to come down next Sunday, December 10th. We'll talk about that after. I'd love to have you in the house or any of my stuff. So Rob was working with some of the guys, and Rob is a white guy, older white guy, talks a lot. If you first meet him, he's a genius, but when you first meet him, and especially if you're an ignorant guy from New York like me, you know you're going to judge him right away. He had guys spinning around, doing his ballerina shit, all this crazy shit. I looked at him and said, this guy's fucking nuts, man. Like, no way. Like, I don't know what this shit is, but that ain't it. So then I continued. Yeah. So now, just fast forward, probably 2 times a year, I have Rob come live at my house with me for a month straight. He's coming to stay at my house. He flies in. He's with the Heat. He's going to fly in on the 8th. He's going to stay with me for 4 days to my clinic. So what I've learned from Rob, he's a genius. And what he's taught me about shooting, and we're probably year 7 or 8 now together. I was very, very fortunate to have him, but I almost regret it a lot because he could have helped me in my career. But what I've learned from him now is help me in training, getting people better. So like exponential leaps with him. So first thing is always be learning, and you could get information from anybody. He's that shooting guy on Instagram. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. Genius. Like the Heat, he's been with the Heat for however long. And then you got to be about it. So you got to do the shit. You got to be able to do the shit you're telling people in some capacity.
Who always says that, Hank?
Yeah.
You
got to be. You know why? Because at some point you're going to get tested. It could be in any way. It could be a fucking shot. It could be something stupid. But you got to be able to practice what you got to be a practitioner at all times. And for 2 reasons. 1, credibility. 2, it just keeps you sharp. And you got to have that same, because you're in being a trainer. We're in servanthood. We're serving people. We're getting people better, right? But you still got to be a dog at what you do. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to be able to give people that chip that you didn't have. So you got to always be training, and you got to always be in the gym, and you got to know what the fuck you're talking about. And then you got to be able to do what the fuck you're talking about. They say like success is being able to visualize it, being able to speak it, and then being able to do it, and it's all in harmony. Then it's all in harmony. If you can think it, and then you can speak it, and you can do it, and that's all working together, you're successful. So I think you got to be able to do that. And then overall work ethic, man. You can't expect anything out of the people you train if you don't expect that yourself. Like everybody talks about the early mornings, 5 a.m.s. Guess what? If you training the person that you want to get up, you got to get up at 5 a.m. too. So you got to have that same work ethic. So I think with all that, the willingness to learn, the willingness to work, and then the willingness to serve, you go as far. And the last piece. So as far as what you said, as your question is going, if your thing is the NBA or it's G League or it's overseas or it's youth, it's relationships. You may be great at what you can do, but if you don't have that relational piece, because it's so much bigger than basketball, what you said, you're a mentor and all those things, which I think is incredible because I think it all encompasses what we do. It's life. This shit is about life. Basketball is just a small ticket in it, small piece. So being able to build relationships, that's it. That's the golden rule. Once you get that trust and you build that relationship, people will run through a wall for you. You'll run through a wall for them.
I love that.
I have one more, Jay. I don't know if you have another, but can we talk about our boy Francis Tiafoe?
Sure. Yeah, that's my dog. I was just talking to him today.
I think he's up there. To me, Francis Tiafoe is up there with some of the most entertaining players there are on tour right now.
Yeah, the best. Francis is so I've always been like an avid tennis fan. And I remember this was probably like 3-4 years ago, maybe. This was actually right back to where I was talking about Paige was coming back from the ankle injury. So this is probably like a few months before that. She was on crutches. And I posted something, Tiafoe, either I DM'd him or he DM'd me, like, yo, I would love to come by your gym and watch Paige work out. And Tiafoe was, if you're in the tennis world, you knew him, but maybe outside world didn't know him as much. I'm looking at my phone like, you Tiafoe, you can pull up anytime. Like, so he pulled up. We actually shot this video. I still got the content. It was him and his brother and me and Paige, and we played like horse, and she was on crutches, and we shot with a big ball with our opposite hand, and we scraped them. But it was great because then I started, we built a relationship, and then, man, he looked out. Last year, I was in the commissioner seats at the U.S. Open, man. I went to every single match in the U.S. Open last year, every single one. And I support him, and he supported me like tenfold. Like that's my dog, man. He's had my back through everything, and he's an incredible human being, bro. And on top of that, for the African American community, he's doing something that's never been done since Arthur Ashe. He's the highest ranked African American player in the world, and just watching him transcend and his story. I hope one day you guys, and I'd love to connect you to get him on this podcast. His story is incredible. I don't want to tell it for him. His story is incredible.
Let's definitely be a friend of a friend, right? And get him on the show.
For sure. Yeah, but great dude. Yeah, he's excited, and he got swag in it. Like, we're at the U.S. Open, man. We talk. Like, it felt like we back in the park in New York, man. We talking. He's doing his drop shot, putting this, and he just got spirit, man, and people gravitate to him, and I want to see him win a major soon. So I literally was just talking to him earlier today, man. That's my dog. Love that dude.
Among athletes that are impossible to dislike, for me, Big Foe is up there with all of them. One, because of his story. Two, because of his swagger. Like, he has it all.
Yeah, and he's a huge heart. His heart is humongous, huge. The best. So positive, man. Incredible dude.
Yeah, I would love to have him on. Big Foe, if you're listening.
Shout out Big Foe, man. I'll talk to him. I think I might see him on Saturday. We have a tentative meetup for Saturday, so I'll definitely put the bug in his ear. Great dude, man. I'd love for you guys. If you spent 5 minutes with him, he's a very inspirational dude.
Yeah. Jay, you got anything else?
Nah, man. I'm super blessed that he gave all of our fans and followers what he gave them about the training aspect, because I'm a guy who spends every second of every hour of every day in the gym teaching and training and developing, and also talking to kids about the importance of the stuff outside of the gym. I was like, that what you gave right there was everything everybody needs to hear.
For sure.
Because there's too many trainers doing it for the wrong reasons, and too many trainers thinking that you could just wake up and do it if you don't spend time actually studying the game. And it's like, it was good to hear that. It was refreshing.
Anything, and same for you, Hank, man. Anything you guys need from me, anything, the answer is always yes here. So I really appreciate you guys taking time and having me on, man. That's love, man. I really appreciate that.
Perfect, man. Thank you for having us, man. We appreciate everything. Give the wisdom out.
Yes, sir.